make it a day, the quarter pound away. Da 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 da.
All right, guys, welcome to the first episode of Finding Departures podcast. We've been talking for a while about doing this. But
almost like since we've been together.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of this podcast is that we've been lucky enough to travel to a couple of places, and we just wanted to share some of those funny experiences, some stuff we've learned along the way, and of course, just some advice as far as traveling internationally.
I mean, that's how we learn when we go away. We watch other people. I mean Msizi. He tells me everything I need to know.
But the other thing is that I think a lot of South Africans think that traveling is unattainable. It's only for the super rich and people can't do it, which we've learned along the way is that it's not the case because, I mean, we're not super rich. We're not these out there super rich people. But we found ways to travel to several different countries and in an affordable way.
Asia being number one.
Absolutely. So today we'll just give you a bit of an overview about who we are. Probably should have started with that. Hey.
Yeah, we didn't introduce ourselves.
All right, well, we're here now. I'm Msizi James.
It's a rough start.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, which I'm going to assume is most of you, my name is Msizi James, and this is my lovely wife, Angela. I think let's kick it off by just talking about why we think traveling is so important and why people should travel. Maybe you want to go first.
For me, I think it's mostly the cultural part of things. Like, it's so cool to just leave what you know and you realize that there's a whole world outside of your day-to-day things. Your problems seem so small.
And it also reminds you sometimes how good you have it.
Literally, that as well.
Absolutely, and I think just opening your eyes, I think traveling is such an important thing for people to do. Those who can. I think we're also well aware that most people in this country or other countries can't afford to travel or are not in the position, but those who can, I think I always say, one of my favorite sayings is travel, your money will come back, your time won't.
100%.
You know, she's the guardrail sometimes, doing all the wise things of, no, we need to budget, we've got to feed the dogs, yeah? I'm like, let's go. The dogs will feed themselves.
We'll figure it out.
Figure it out. It's
Msizi's favorite thing, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and that's what we've been doing since our beginning of travel. But I think, let's start at the very beginning. Let's talk about the first time we went overseas together. I won't count Mozambique, because we didn't go together. We happened to be there with a group of friends, which is, by the way, how we end up getting back together. Story for a different day.
Another podcast.
But the first travel trip we ever did together was Thailand. Hey, that was your first international?
That was my first international trip. My first time going abroad. And boy...
Was it interesting? So we had flown to Thailand. Firstly, let's just go back a bit. So I found a great deal to go to Thailand, which I think a lot of people, what they end up doing is that they go onto the internet and then they will type in flights for Thailand and they'll see this crazy amount, random amount that will make them get turned off by the idea of traveling because it is quite expensive if you do it that way.
It's quite daunting to just place a huge amount of money down for something that's not tangible.
So the first time we started traveling, we used, what's the name of that company?
STA.
STA Travel. They no longer exist. Sure.
But shame, they were great. You put 1,000 Rand deposit down and you have up until a month before, hey?
Yeah, exactly.
A month before to pay for your whole trip. So you can plan a trip 2 years in advance and literally just pay it off month by month, which is honestly the best thing.
What we did. We didn't have 40,000 Rand at the time to go.
I was still a student.
Absolutely, and I was new to my job here at 5FM when I was still there, and we would put a deposit down, which is 1,000 Rand each at STA every time we traveled, and then this was months ahead, and then every time I'd get a gig or a little bit of extra money or my salary, we'd put more and more towards that trip.
Yeah.
And that's how we were able to afford it. That's why I'm saying there's different ways to travel without having a bulk amount of money.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we did. And then we booked a trip to Thailand for how long? How long did we go for? Just over a week, maybe?
Yeah, I want to say maybe 8-9 days.
Yeah. And with the excitement of all of it, excitement of traveling, I started drinking on the plane. Because these, as you know, if you travel international flights, they give you free alcohol, and I was going to take full advantage of the money I'd paid for that seat. So we were traveling economy. Obviously, we didn't ball like that. So we started ordering, what was it? It was whiskey.
Don't put we, it wasn't me.
Come on, we're in this together.
It was just you, babes.
No, we're married now. My mistakes are your mistakes. That's how it works. No, so I started ordering a bunch of whiskeys, and I was watching movies. So exciting! It was really exciting to be on a flight together.
No, it was amazing. It was so much fun.
All I can remember is there's a lot of excitement. I bought that cheap luggage.
Yes, I remember, and we bought our K-Ways as well, guys. We bought K-Ways
to go to Thailand.
Yeah.
One day we'll tell you about how not to shop when you're going on vacation. It includes buying cheap luggage. Don't do that. So I bought this cheap luggage, and we were on our flight and drinking, watching movies, laughing. I remember getting so drunk and laughing at
I Feel Pretty.
I Feel Pretty. It was
He was laughing so much that he woke me up from my sleep.
so great. And while we was watching this movie, I kept ordering more. Finally, I remember the air hostess getting fed up.
I mean, to be fair, she had every right to. It was literally every 5 minutes. Ding, ding.
And everyone was sleeping. Everyone was sleeping. And so finally she gets fed up. She brings like 5 whiskeys to me, all in one go. She drops them on the table, a bunch of peanuts. And
As if peanuts were gonna save you. You were too far gone by then.
Peanuts were just, all they were doing is like also getting drunk. They weren't even absorbing the alcohol by then. And I remember eating all the peanuts, drinking all 5 that she brought. And then I finally fell asleep.
Just as we were landing.
20 minutes later, we landed. And then, over to you.
And boy, that was the most beautiful sight. Do you remember flying in and we overlooked, and well, I don't know if you can remember.
I do remember. That vividly stands out when we flew into Thailand.
Then one of the most beautiful landing spots. It was, you fly over the mountains, so it's where PP is. You fly over the mountains and it's just this crystal clear water, and I'd never seen water that clear before. Anyway, so we land. Now, when you're busy disembarking, they tell you about
immigration forms,
The immigration forms. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I'm in this foreign place, nobody speaks English, and this one's drunk. This one who's supposed to be my protector and who's watched all of the vlogs and knows what to do. But there we were.
I was in no position to be filling out any legal documents at all. I was just excited to be in Thailand. And I think the main reason we had chosen Thailand is, of course, it is beautiful. Thailand must be one of the most beautiful places.
And most affordable as well.
That is why we went, because it's affordable. There are other beautiful places, but I can't afford to go to Greece yet. So we went to Thailand, and it was great, man. It was so culturally different to South Africa.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, everything was different, from the food to the people. There's a reason why they call it the land of smiles. Everyone was just so happy and so welcoming. And I guess we can break down some of the prices of how much it costs to be in Thailand. 1 rand is 3 of whatever they use. Baht.
Yeah.
It's called Thai baht. And so, I mean, I think the flights were probably the most expensive part of it, but still not bad. We flew with Emirates, and I think those for 2 people were about 18,000 rand return. Which is really good for an international trip for 2 people to pay 9,000 rand return anywhere. It's really good.
And the service is amazing. Like Emirates is the best.
In a future episode, we'll compare different airlines too, tell you what different airlines have to offer and the perks of which airline is the best. We'll even compare from economy to some of the business class products that we've tried too. But so that was the flights, about 18,000 rand. And I think accommodation, one of the big selling points of Thailand is, once again, how affordable accommodation was.
We got a standard room, so we paid for a standard room, and then we got there and we upgraded, and it was probably like 1,000 rand to upgrade for like 4 nights.
Yeah, 1,000 rand in totality. Not per night,
it all together. And like our room was beautiful. We had like a little jacuzzi outside of it. We had a view of the pool. It was beautiful. It felt like we were balling.
Yeah.
The food.
Okay.
The culture, which I guess is kind of the people, which is what I was going to say next. But it's just so much fun. Like, it's so affordable. You can walk. Like, you just walk everywhere, or you have a scooter. And I suppose that all ties into the culture of the place. Like, the fact that you just jump on your scooter, then it starts pouring with rain, but then the sun's out 5 minutes later, and off you go to the next restaurant, or off you go to the beach.
And I think also, I guess, for me, the big one, of course, is the affordability.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a mad... Hey, stop that. Sorry, our dogs are making noise. Hey! Nala!
No, it's Dad's fault because he gave you the ball, hey.
Now the other dog's barking because of you. Just give me 5 minutes and then we can play again. Heavens above.
Have children, they said.
So for me, it's definitely the affordability. That's a big one. And of course, what's really cool, listen, in no means are we saying that we are Thailand experts. There are people out there who really travel the country and know from south to north, Doesn't matter. They
Still
know
drunk
from
again.
east to west. They know Thailand. We're just telling you from our experience, and I think the most popular part of Thailand is definitely Phuket.
Phuket, yeah. It's the most touristy part as well.
Yeah, so we've been to Phuket a couple of times, and what I loved about Phuket, of course, it's got the beach, it's got the culture, but then it's also got a great nightlife. Oh, damn it! Here you go. It's got a great.
Back to
Phuket.
Back to it.
There's a lot of different things to do. From the food, from the culture, to the beach. It's a really popular beach town, to, of course, a great nightlife.
Oh yeah, one of the best.
Some of the best clubs in the world are in Phuket, like Illusion, really great. Some great beach clubs too, like, is it Kuda? Kudo Beach Club.
Kuda, isn't it?
Kudo. Kudo, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Is it Kuda?
I think it's Kuda.
Well, that's why we have laptops. Otherwise, they'd been useless this whole time. Why do we even have this laptop? Kudo. It's Kudo Hotel, Kudo Beach Club in Thailand.
Sounds right.
Apologize?
No, I was right.
No, you said Kuda. It's Kudo.
Oh, okay. So you were right.
Here's the
I'm so
thing.
sorry.
This is the first time I've ever heard her apologize for being wrong. And of course, then we've done Phuket, Phi Phi.
Phi Phi, oh yo, Phi Phi was beautiful.
And we always say to people, our friends who've gone after us is, stay on Phi Phi. Don't do
don't
those
just
island
do a
hopping.
day trip, yeah. Because when you get there, you stay there for a couple of days, and then you can rent one of those long tail boats, and they take you out for the whole day.
And then, of course, nice beach life there too. They've got a lot of fire shows.
That was fun.
Yeah, you know.
With
they've
like the jump rope.
Absolutely, and the great bars, very touristy too. You'll meet a lot of international people. And in Bangkok, we've also done Bangkok, which is exactly what you see in, what's that movie?
Hangover.
The Hangover 3, I think, is where they filmed the one in Bangkok, and it's exactly what you see. I mean, it's the big rooftop bars.
Just buildings everywhere.
Yeah, it's a great city if you're into that. We went to a comedy show while we were there.
That was one of the highlights of that place. That was so good.
Like randomly, we were walking through some random street, and somebody said comedy, and we walked in, and
we
it
were
was
like, okay.
hilarious, all in English, foreign comedians from like
it was,
America,
Australia.
Yeah.
It's not like the Maldives where you're gonna just lie on the beach all day. Like you're gonna jump on your scooter and you're gonna go explore. You're gonna go up to like the temples and
Thailand is definitely a place to check out for your first trip. And I would say maybe if we just ballpark budget for Thailand, I think in 2022 you could still look at paying for 7 days, about 40K for 2 people.
Yeah, 100%. And like that includes your food and all of your drinks and accommodation.
Yeah. You can get great deals, and I think best time of year to go, I would recommend.
Isn't it like June, July? Don't we normally go June, July?
Yeah, June, July is really good.
Because it's also like a little bit like off season.
Yeah, because it is going into the rainy season. But
Monsoon.
I mean, when we were there, I remember we went into a club. And we were in the club for all of 20 minutes. Remember when we went to a Tiger Club or whatever it was called?
No, wasn't it Shark?
Shark Club on Bangla Road, the most popular street in Bangkok. And we went
Careful which alleyways you walk into in Bangla.
Want to go to a ping pong show? Yes, you do want to go to a ping pong show, you do.
You gotta do it once.
It's where they play ping pong, if you know what I mean. Doesn't matter if you don't know.
Do you want to elaborate?
It's a ping pong show, just they ping pong. Anyway, so we went into a club for all of 20 minutes. We walked out, and it was wet everywhere. And I was like, what this happened? And
it like poured down.
It poured down, and of course, that's the rainy season, but it never rains for more than like 20 minutes at a time.
But also something strange about, well, not strange about Thailand, just something to be noted is that there's a smell. There's always like a smell.
Yeah.
The whole of Thailand just has the smell.
Well, I think especially Phuket, I don't think they've figured out their plumbing really.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a plumbing problem there.
By a smell, you can imagine what we're trying to say. It's not a great smell.
Yeah, but it's also not like overwhelming. Like I was never there and thought, oh, this is stinky. Otherwise, we wouldn't go there so often.
No, it's not terrible. But I remember like the first time like stepping out and I was like, wow, that's a smell.
Yeah, and I think it's such a humid place that the smell is a bit stuck in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's stuck in there. But it's not
But then you get so used to it and it's just like normal.
It's just a big city smell
Yeah.
too. I'll be honest, I thought the same thing about Joburg. I used to say to people when I first moved here, Joburg smells like cheese.
Eggs?
Cheese.
Oh.
Joburg smells like
Same
cheese to
thing,
me for
really.
no reason. And you get used to the cheesy smell.
Yeah, just like you get used to the Thailand smell.
Absolutely, and cheese is expensive, so like it's a rich
Smells
smell.
like money.
Obviously, people in Joburg have money here, But yeah, I think Thailand's definitely a must-do. Bucket list for everyone, regardless of what your type of holiday is, you know, especially if you're beaching.
And regardless of your income as well. Like, obviously, if you can afford to go anywhere, do Thailand. Like, it doesn't matter if you have R1,000,000, like, just do Thailand.
Absolutely. And I think, once again, people see our stuff and they think, wow, these guys are so rich. Oh my God.
And then a friend will ask me out to lunch and I'll be like, sorry, I can't. Things are tight this month. But meanwhile, we went to the oyster box.
Yeah, somebody will be like, oh, do you want to come to my wedding? Somewhere I'm like, nah, fam, I can't afford those flights. What are you talking about? But you were at the oyster box last weekend. So we'll share a lot of those tips too, how to book cheaply within this country, the avenues in which to go, and just some of the great deals you can get just within South Africa. You know, if you don't want to leave the country, if you don't have a passport, but you still want to explore, because I think a lot of people also think it's unattainable to do these game reserve type things. And it's like, no, not everyone needs to go to Singita, because not everyone can afford that, you know, but you can still go to game reserves and have game drives relatively affordable.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like still like an amazing experience.
Absolutely. Another thing we'll cover as we continue is things not to do and things to do.
Tourist traps.
Absolutely. There's a lot of different tourist traps. I mean, just wrapping up our Thailand conversation, the big one, of course, is the riding of elephants.
Yeah, that for me was like off limits. Like, we're not doing anything related to any animal.
Yeah. Marry a white girl, they said. It'd be fun, they said. No, but I fully agree. It was very disheartening to see. And I think a lot of people don't know the reality of how these elephants are being treated and just animals in general. You know, you go pet tigers in Thailand or wherever you are and you think, oh, it's so cute. It's a baby tiger. You don't know the reality of what goes on there. So we'll talk about some of those traps too. I almost said thirst traps, but there's tourist traps. But I think that's not to put you off traveling, just to give you some advice also
definitely.
as far as what you're contributing to. Because as a tourist, you want to leave an impact in wherever you're going, and a positive impact. You know, you want to add to that economy, you want to add to those people's lives in some sort of way.
Especially in a place like Thailand where tourism is their main source of income.
Absolutely.
So they were absolutely devastated during COVID. So they need tourism.
Absolutely. And what happened during COVID is that a lot of local places had to then accommodate for locals. And that's when the big price difference happened in SADC rates.
Yeah, Cape Town saw
residents.
flames during COVID because it's such an overseas destination to go to. Like, all of the tourists want to go to Cape Town. So I remember like the waterfront being so dead.
It's really geared towards foreigners, Europeans and Americans.
Those were the words I was trying to find.
Yeah, so leave it to me, I'm on radio. It's really geared towards foreigners, but I think when the pandemic happened, they really switched it up. And so we are now able to go stay at places that otherwise we wouldn't have been able to. I mean, even the mid-COVID, I remember going to One and Only. And the only reason I stayed at One and Only is because it was like a quarter of the price because of COVID.
And normally you would never be able to stay
there. Me, I'll stay at the Protea, you know? I'll ask for the suite. I'll ask for the nice suite at the Protea, you know? Which is still cheaper than the standard room at any of those other ones. So yeah, we're gonna go try out some places we've never been to before. And then we'll let you know about those too. I think that's the beauty of traveling, is just, it's the experience. Yeah, I've never been really into possessions. It's more about experiences for me. You know, I sold my car a couple months ago. Haven't even replaced that yet. I could be spending all the money on all the travels we're gonna do soon on buying a new car. But I'm like, how much fulfillment will a car really bring to me? You know, apart from day-to-day work commitments and the businesses that we run that need a car. I think experiences are so much better. Travel, your time won't come back, but your money will. You always figure it out.
100%. And I mean, that's been so true.
Absolutely. When I think about money-wise, and perhaps the most stressful trip we've ever done money-wise, I would say Bali.
Why?
I just remember thinking, sure.
Actually, yeah, because even when we stayed in that nice little in Ubud,
yeah,
was it Ubud?
The villa,
the villa in Ubud. Like, I remember that like seeming like it was really expensive at the time, but like I look back on it now and I'm like, oh.
Exactly. And I remember even...
We really didn't have money back then.
Heavens above, I remember having to call my banker from South Africa.
I remember that. And your phone wasn't working either.
So I couldn't increase my limit because they had to send me a one-time PIN, but I was in a foreign country, so my SMSs weren't working. Yeah. And luckily, I had a banker who really had a good relationship, because normally I don't think they should be
able to. I don't think it's legal.
Yeah, because I couldn't approve it.
Yeah.
But I explained, I was like, yo, I'm currently in Indonesia. I can't get one-time PINs, but if you don't increase my limit,
I'm not coming home.
I'm going to jail. They're going to arrest me in an Indonesian Balinese jail for not paying my hotel bill, you know? And that was so scary.
Extend, they said.
But it's just like you're saying, looking back at that now,
Yeah.
we're like, I remember back then in 2017 or whatever, 2018, thinking, wow, that was so expensive, that place. And then now it's like, that's so cheap.
Yeah, like that's cute.
That's so cheap. And that's not to say that we're rich, we're not, but I think this is the way things...
The way things have worked out.
And also the way that our eyes have opened differently.
The perception, yeah. Because I mean, some of the places we've traveled to have been like, honestly, the most incredible places. Like our honeymoon was something out of like a fairy tale.
Yeah. We are your average Joes, you know. Well, not so much me, you know.
I'm a superstar.
I'm a national treasure, if I'm being honest, you know. I'm an absolute national. I'm joking. It sounds silly even saying it out of my mouth. But yeah, we're very normal, and I think we are very much in South Africa's middle class people.
Yeah, but we've been hella blessed.
Yeah, 100%. It's all been a lot of blessing, a lot of luck, a lot of connections, and a lot of just being able to figure out things the right
100%.
way and knowing that these things you're able to do these things, you know? But yeah, I can't wait to share this journey with you guys. Finding Departures is the name of the podcast. As we go on, we'll share different experiences. Thank you so much for tuning into the first episode. Please, I almost said like, subscribe.
Like, subscribe, and
Don't
comment
do
below.
It's not on YouTube. Don't subscribe and like it. Just enjoy it, share it with your friends, and then join us for the next one. Because I promise you, it sounds like we've been rambling today. We will get more focused. We're just excited to finally launch this thing. And this is your first time like doing...
Yeah, this is my first time in front of the camera. I'm a behind the scenes gal.
And even like doing on the mic stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we do a lot of vlogs together, so we'll share those with you too. We do a lot of travel vlogs about our experiences, more visual aid for you. But this is the first time like that we're sitting down and actually chatting about it. We'll pick it up in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, celebrate everything.
Bye.
Hey there, don't lose your cool. Think of the quarter pounder. Beefy deliciousness to lift you up. It will taste like sunshine on a rainy day. Oh, so make it a day, the quarter pound away. Da 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 da.